Well, here we are again. Another session, dude.
Another session.
Yeah, we're doing them kind of almost every week, but not really.
Yeah.
Whenever it feels right. You're busy, I'm busy.
It's worked out really nicely. It's just kind of happened like, hey, let's do a session. It's worked out kind of weekly, but it seems very, very much as it should be. Like, hey, you want to do an episode?
Right.
Organically, let's flush our minds.
Yeah. Even though, we need to flush our minds every single moment.
Sometimes you need a helping hand.
Oh my God, yeah. So that's why we're here, folks. And I always forget to tell people to subscribe and share because that's not my focus.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of cool if you know somebody that could benefit from our conversations, and it's not going to be earth-shattering stuff that you got to hear, but it's stuff that we need to hear.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of times in our daily life, we our inner monologue is always telling us something that seems so simple, and we would never think to share it because it's so simple to us. But in reality, if you started vocalizing those things as simple, quote unquote, they are,
yes,
that can be profound to someone that's never heard it.
Yes, and repeating it like we talked about many times, and hearing it, never hear it enough. Good stuff. You can never hear it enough.
Never
it's
hear
like
enough.
The analogy of the radiator. In the car, after years, it gets gunked up. You got to flush it out. Put new water in there. And even though you put good water in there, it still gets gunked because there is those little particles that creep in.
That's part of it.
Those particles known as friends and acquaintances and workmates and teammates and family members. Those little particles just kind of pile up in your mind, your little thoughts.
Yeah.
And then so one thing I do is the daily ritual would be like honoring the miracle, the miracle moments of the day. And one thing I did a couple of days ago, I went to the beach. I think I sent you a picture. I went to the beach. I love the beach. And it was one of those days, I thankfully live 20 minutes from Malibu in the valley. So I get to the valley, nobody's there, it's chilly, jacket on, I get on this, they have these berms now, they pile the sand for the winter to keep the water from eroding.
Is that why they do that?
Yeah, and then they use it and then they spread that out.
Wow.
For the summer, so it's kind of every year. So I sat up on top of this berm, 10 feet high.
I didn't know that.
It's kind of cool. So I was sitting up there, and it was cool. I was watching these two guys. There's two guys here, surfing.
Mm-hmm.
One guy had a bodysuit on, a wetsuit. And they came in. I said, "Oh, okay, cool." Then the other guy started getting in the water, but he had like regular cotton shorts, no shirt, no shoes. The other guy was all suited up. I'm like, watch this. What's gonna happen here? Because that water's cold. I put my feet in the water.
It's cold outside the water.
It's ice cold water, right? I mean, not ice cold, but cold. So the first guy goes in with the wetsuit. He's getting ready, and the other guy goes in. I'm like, oh my God, he's really going in.
Just dove in.
Dove in, he gets in the water, he's like getting hit by waves, he's soaking wet, he has long hair, he's like typical surfer dude,
Yeah.
But I'm like, and I'm watching for a while, so I go through I do some meditations on the beach, listen to the water, and then I come back to reality, and then I look, and he's still doing it. And I said, okay, I gotta go for my little walk, I gotta talk to this guy. So I walk this way, and then I walk back, and I cross him, I say, hey buddy, I just want to ask you something, how do you do it? He goes, oh, how do you do it? No. I said, how do you do it? How do you do what? How do you get in that cold water? He says, I love it. I just go in and I do it. And he says, after a while, my body gets numb and I don't even feel it. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Okay, that's the answer. So I thought, what is that difference between the guy in the wetsuit and that guy without the wetsuit? It's all the way you frame it in your mind. And I go, you know what? I've dealt with that before. Years ago when I spent a lot of time up in Tahoe, it's always really cold there.
Yeah.
In the mornings, but you accept it because it's supposed to be. Is that weird?
Yeah, it is interesting. You know it's going to be that cold.
Right. So the way you set the frame of mind, I go, wow, that allows you to enjoy the situation, not to think it's not supposed to be like this. Like I'm saying, well, the water shouldn't be that cold.
Yeah.
Well, of course you're not going to go in the water, but it's just the way it is, and you go in. It's a frame of mind. It's a frame of mind. So in Tahoe, I get out. It would be cold, but I just do my thing. Here, if it was that temperature, we'd never leave the house.
That's so interesting. That's so interesting. Because, even in California, like when we have our sunshine and it's like 60 out, we have jackets on.
I know.
Right? We have jackets on right now,
I know.
But if we went somewhere like, New York in the winter, and it was 60 degrees outside, you'd be walking around in shorts.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Connecticut, so I remember that. Like in March, it starts to get warm, 45, 50, like, woohoo!
But it's totally wild.
Is that
because it truly is it's not like it's 45 degrees is different here and different there. Maybe there's wind and things like that involved.
Yeah,
But
it's slightly different, but not
but
really.
even then, like it really is a frame of mind.
It's a frame of mind. I
Like
thought,
what is that? It's unbelievable. It's blowing my mind.
yeah. So I think if we could apply that to whatever we do and not put those restrictions on what we're doing, I think it's being like expecting something to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And if it's not exactly that way, I find myself with that, being a performer, as you, is like you like things to be exactly right, but they're not that right. Don't get turned off to it and say, well, why is it supposed to be exactly right?
Yeah.
Deal with it and do it anyway. Work through that.
That's so interesting to think about a frame of mind, like, because it really is very much the opposing factor. Like you said, it shouldn't be this cold.
Right.
But it is what it is. It's almost like bringing you to say, like, all right, this is what it is, no matter what.
Right.
I either accept that and enjoy myself, or I decide what it should and shouldn't be, and I'm miserable.
Exactly. You're
That's
fighting
incredible.
the reality.
Yeah.
It's like, it is what it is. I mean, especially dealing with, like, natural things, it's like, it's exactly what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
We don't like it, the rain, the snow, the wind, but it's normal. So I think it's surrendering really is the answer.
Well, I like that, surrendering to it.
I mean, Eckhart Tolle talks about it. A lot of spiritual teachers talk about it in different ways, but it's surrendering to the moment. And it's not saying that you have to accept things that are bad, but it's certain things that you can't change. You have to say, okay, that's the way it is. Okay, the water's cold. I'm going to get in the water.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I think the vocabulary there is very important too, because we're always told to accept what we can't control. And,
Right.
well, I understand that, and I'm saying it's a very important skill to have. To tell someone to accept what they can't control is basically saying it's okay to accept something you don't like in your life, which is fine, and you can't control it. But to surrender to it basically says that I don't have to feel burdened by this because I'm surrendering to it, because it is what it is regardless. Accepting, for me, kind of has this connotation of like, I'm choosing to accept what kind of gives me control in a situation. But when you surrender, you realize that you don't have to even burden yourself with the idea of control, because it's going to happen regardless. It's natural. It's supposed to happen.
Right.
I like that. Surrendering to it is very. I like that vocabulary.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the words you use are very strong, very important.
Yeah, especially when we talk to ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the words you use. So surrendering means, like you said, seeing what it is and saying, okay, don't fight it, because now you're going to go into a negative state.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to deal with it. You're going to deal with it even less if you're fighting it. If there's a negative tension, or you're like you get you're fighting something. You close down your
stressed
body.
out,
You close your body, and that's not a good way to figure something out.
You're not going to figure it out.
Right. But if you surrender to it and you go, okay, that's what it is. Don't take it personally.
Wow.
And allow yourself to do your best. Like the 4 Agreements. I love that book. It's just like, always do your best. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Those are the things that you have to do. But surrendering is, the ego doesn't like that. It feels like you're giving into it, but you're not giving into it. You don't have to be part of it most of the time.
And that's really what it is.
Yeah, you don't have to be part of it.
I really, really love this. I feel like that's such a different outlook, different perspective,
Right. So you're at the workplace, and there's somebody that's irritating you. Well, you don't have to get involved with him, if you're not working directly with him, or somebody you don't like, or this or that. Just let it be, and it's not going to really affect you. Let it just be and go like a cloud, just drifting by. The cloud just drifts by. They're clouds. The other spiritual teacher, Muji, he's on YouTube too. He says, they're clouds just floating by,
Yeah.
It's just, don't let those things permeate into your system, because they're going to come and go.
And more importantly, the response. I have this book called The Daily Stoic, and it's basically 366 days of like daily meditations, where just you wake up and I read a page of like what the lesson is for the day. And just recently, I'd say like 2-3 days ago, the title of was oh my God, what was the name? It was Did That Make You Feel Better? And it was all about like giving into these things, and like when you respond and react to them, like when you get angry, when you yell, when you tell someone off, when you act upon anything that basically has that anger you're talking about, that like tension, kind of sarcastic, like, did it make you feel better? Because it didn't. It never makes you feel better.
Right.
And so I think it's what you're talking about is don't get there. Don't get to the point where you have to ask, like where you have to realize it didn't make you feel better. Like just don't give into it.
Right. Does that have to feel like it shouldn't make you feel like anything?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you most of the time.
Yeah.
And don't look for any kind of validation whatsoever.
Yeah.
And don't put yourself in a position to feel like I need to feel something or I need to do
I'm
something.
supposed to.
Right. There's the obligation is out the window.
It's funny, same book, like the next day we talked about like, the need to share your opinion. Like you don't always have to, because it's like we have this like weird genetic code as humans, like this like territorial, innate, just I have to share.
We all have them, right?
It's like it's not going to change the other person's mind, no matter how much evidence and proof. It's not going to make this situation any better, and it's not going to make you feel better either. It's like I have to share my opinion. Like, did your opinion really help evolve this situation? Did it help make things better? Did it let you walk away healthy? Do you feel better? But things like that. And we always feel the need to like I have to respond. I have to stand up for myself. I have to yell back. I have to share my opinion. When it's like not
really.
Walk away.
Right.
And guess what? You get to you keep your opinion and still believe it.
But we grew up with it, man. I'm Italian. Imagine me.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
We get. Everybody tells you what they think and what you should be doing by what age, and you're not married by this. You have to have this many kids. It's like, oh my God, we get bombarded with that.
You know what a great example is? I'm getting a tattoo in the next 2 months.
Okay.
And it's a big tattoo. It's on my right limb, my right leg, and I love this piece. I saw it. It jumped out at me, and I've been like working with my artist. I'm really excited about it. It's my body, my money, my thing, and I'm really excited about it. Right.
It's on your body. You're not hurting anybody.
And and it's something with like take tattoos. I was like for example, I don't have to like other people's tattoos, but it's their body. Put the way you want on. Like it's fine. But it's been really interesting because the artwork is what's getting me because I've shown it a few times to people. And every single time I've shown it, it has never been followed with, wow, that's really great. I'm excited for you. It's always like, do you want my opinion? And I've literally gotten to the point where I say, I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm just really excited about it. And then all of a sudden you can see them kind of itching that I need to say it. But it's like, once again, like, look at that situation. It's not going on their body.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect their lives whatsoever.
It's weird.
But it's how we are. We just have this natural. So I think if we can remember that, realize that it's not going to make us feel better, and then, like you said, most importantly, surrender to it.
Yeah.
Surrender to this situation. Sure. It's not. Sure. That's so profound. I'm very happy you shared that today. That's so profound.
Because the surrendering is a relaxing. It should feel the body should go into a relaxed mode, so that at that point you're easier to walk away or maybe have a better answer or no answer, but you're going to be in a better place to respond or not respond.
You won't feel bad about the way you acted.
Exactly. You have a better, the quality of response, if needed at all. Most of the time you don't need it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with social media is that you're doing it almost secretly and hiding behind the.
Well, even comments.
People love that. People say, "Oh yeah, I'm working on a project now." And somebody said, "When you do this project, and people see it, just know you're gonna get a lot of haters." I'm like, "What?" "Oh yeah, no matter what you do, good or bad, you're gonna get." "Are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah, I went through it." I'm like, "Well, I don't really care."
It's like, what is that?
It's like, what are they doing? It's like, come on.
That's just like saying like you're gonna have fans, then you're not gonna have fans.
Right.
Like, no one has the entire world liking the same thing.
Right.
It's called being a human being.
Right.
And like this idea of social media and like what you're talking about is just, of course.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like certain pages that post like funny, the memes or like whatever. Like a lot of these pages go private. Mm-hmm. And if you look in their bio, they literally will say like, if you're easily offended, this and that, like don't follow.
Right.
And like maybe it's like a scheme to get you to press follow, but at the same time, it's like there's so many people like very clearly saying this is what I'm doing, regardless if it's offensive. Right. And then you still find people choosing to follow them, choosing to go on and comment like how wrong they are, and then reporting them and stuff. Now, like both sides have their sides, but it's also like, why put yourself through so much negativity?
Right.
It's the need to post it, the need to comment, the need to this and that, and it's it never makes us feel better.
No. It's a dead-end street. I mean, Eckhart Tolle talks about the pain body. It's like it wants more. It lives from other people's pain. And pain bodies come together. To me, like social media is a pain body community.
That's great.
It's true because that's what you're going for. There's people. Wow. I post stuff, and if I say something like somebody passed or something happened, tons of people responding. Oh my God, blah blah blah. I post a nice thing like to be joyful. You have to be grateful. 26 people, but that's okay. That's all right.
It's interesting how that works.
It's so interesting. It doesn't. You know what I mean? There's nothing for people to say.
You know what? It kind of. I feel like this is kind of like chain reaction. Like it's easy to jump on board with the negativity, but we don't want to encourage other people sharing positivity because then they are praised for sharing it. It's like everyone's posting their quotes and their motivation and like this and that, but when someone else does, it's like there's like this disconnect because they want to be the one sharing it.
Yeah, it's
a wild.
It's an egotistical thing, and it's also we're not free to love people. Like people are afraid to say, you know what, that's great. I love you, man. I love this. This is great. You know, people like friends. If I post something, they'll put like the thumbs up.
Yeah.
It's like I always put. If it's great, I always put a heart. It's like,
yeah.
What does that mean? It's like I love it.
Yeah.
But they're afraid. Even as a little response, they have to put a thumbs up. You know, like my friend passed away. Like put a heart for Christ's sakes. Put a heart on it.
Yeah.
The guy died. You could love a dead man. You know, the guy was a great guy. People loved him. He was a sweetheart of a man. It's like even at that, people are afraid to even use that. They're afraid of what you're gonna think. That's the thing. But that's the ego talking. The ego is the killer. You know?
Absolutely. Well, it's funny because like if they're afraid of what you think, why are you on there in the first place?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's funny.
At least the idea of like social sharing, like sharing things you want to share because you think people will enjoy them.
I know. That's why I wrote the piece that I will share later down the road with everybody about that, you know, that subject of social media and the oxymoron it is, you know.
Well, the sad part is I feel like so many of us are aware of this, but it doesn't change our day-to-day action.
You have to be conscious. It takes effort to do it, you know. I think you have to become passionate with it. Like we talked about passion in the arts that we do. It's physical.
Yeah.
Well, if you need to break the ego and surrender, I think it takes a little bit of effort. You can't just say you're going to do it. It's an
addiction.
Yeah.
It's an addiction. Yeah. You have to go through withdrawals.
Yeah.
And you have to know that you want to be on the other side.
Yes. And always see the other side. But that's why the tools that we're sharing with everybody, everything that we've, and all the other episodes, the things that we mention is that use something from that. Read a page out of a book. Go out and appreciate the miracles, the things that are happening around us, the air breathing, realizing that our lungs are half on the trees and are half in our bodies, and we're actually with the earth and the universe. We're not separate from it.
Yeah.
And that means you are too, and I am too, so that we're the same. The earth doesn't care when your time comes that you have $500,000. You know, Kobe Bryant we mentioned last episode. Yeah. Nobody's helped him more than in the earth. Everybody on that tragedy perished. The earth is very equalizing.
Yeah.
The universe is equalizing. That's the beauty of it.
It's balance.
Very balanced. Isn't that nice?
And you can't buy your way out of that. You can't convince your way out of that.
No,
you can't
break the balance.
It's like you just have to that's what you need to accept. That's what you need to surrender to, because the faster you surrender to that, the happier life will be. If you choose to not surrender, then you're going to live a stressful, intense, miserable life, and there's no reason to.
Yeah, because it's a fight mode that is unnecessary. What are we fighting for?
Yeah.
Really, think about it, you know. We want to do good in our career. We want to do good in our arts and our presentations and our things. But at the end of it all, who gives? You know, it's like it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know, but enjoy it. That's what I'm saying. Why not enjoy what you're doing? Because even if it matters or not, I choose to do something fun. I'm going to choose, or not fun. I'm going to do something fun.
Yeah, it's like there's no guideline to this. There's no like mandatory this. It's like, you know, at the end of the day, there's things that if this entire society crumbled and every person perished like that,
right,
everything would still be going on.
Oh man, it'd be beautiful.
Just all the man-made stuff would just be sitting there.
Right. The air would be a lot cleaner.
Earth still be here. Right. You know, still be rotating.
Right.
Life would still happen.
Sure.
So it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it's not the most important thing. So enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride. It's literally what we're doing here to remind you that at the end of it all, it's not that getting or attaining all this stuff is bad. Mm-hmm. If that's what you enjoy, then absolutely do it. But the moment anything gets in the way of you realizing that it's just purely about enjoying the person next to you and having a good time and doing what you love and passionate about, then it's not worth it.
Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. I mean, that's
simple,
AA.
stupid.
AA talks. That's their slogan, you know, for Alcoholics Anonymous. I said that once to somebody, and I didn't know what it was, Alcoholics Anonymous. Thankfully, I never had to go to those meetings, but there's a lot of people that go to it. And my friend goes, "Oh, you go to AA?" I'm like, No, what's that? He goes, I go, no. He goes, keep it simple, stupid is their slogan.
Really?
Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Just keep it simple. That's the key, though. There's nothing. Don't complicate it with the stuff that we throw at it. But that's the daily thing. That's why we need tools, because we need to get to the door and open the door to this living in joy. Right? That's the tools are for. They're not the answer.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like the door, you open the door and you just have to experience, but it's amazing getting ourselves up, walking to the door and opening that door and even believing that there is a door.
Yes.
That's what seems so impossible, which is absurd because it never goes anywhere.
I know.
It's always
right
there.
And there's really nowhere to go. Like we talk about going to a door, just trying to make it, create something.
Yeah, make a tangible image.
Yeah. But really, there's nowhere to go. We're here. We just got to go this way, inward. There's really no... Because you think about the Earth, there's really no directions, right? What's north, south, east? Well, it's changing all the time.
It's an infinite...
Yeah, we don't know. Like, we don't know where north, south, east, west is, because the Earth is constantly changing and turning. So those points are really just...
For us to navigate,
Something, within the globe itself. But overall, we don't know. Yeah. So we don't have to go anywhere. We just have to go inside of us to find the joy that is already in us, that we're not allowing to come out because of all the stuff we stack and stack and stack. Hence, flushing it out the best way we can. Constantly. It has to be constant, and it shouldn't be work. It should be like, you have to experience it. I'm trying to experience it more and more. Obviously, I'm not doing it as much as I wish I could.
Well, I think a lot of it is inner monologue, too.
Yeah.
Like, we have to realize that the inner monologue isn't exactly flushing the mind. Inner monologue may help us get to a place where we can experience flushing the mind.
Yes.
But that monologue has to be kind to us, and then we can experience it, because we can't talk ourselves into something.
No.
That's just faking it,
Yeah, because the talking now is not really connecting, because you don't have to talk into being... joyful. It has to be an experiential thing, feeling thing. You have to feel it. I can't say joy. Haig, be joyful right now. You're like, well, I don't. Right?
Well, natural response as human is like, is to rebel.
Yeah.
They don't like to be told what to do, so they're going to be upset.
I'm gonna tase you if you don't get joyful. Is that gonna help?
Maybe.
That's my opinion. I think you should be joyful. Again, it's like you can't
That's
impose
not how
it on
it
people,
works.
right?
Yeah.
The best way to do it is be around like-minded people if you can.
If you can.
If you can. It's not going to happen all the time, right?
And be appreciative of the situations that you are in. Everyone has different types of friends, different groups of people that they don't necessarily mesh. But like, say, you're hanging out with someone, you realize like, they're just not the type of person I want to be around. Well, are they not the type of person you want to be around, or are you just not in the mood to be around them? Because it's two different things,
Right.
It's like learn to build a community where you can have relationships and find people that help you appreciate the simple things and the complicated things.
Right. Yeah, because they all have something to show you. Like
I've definitely had to remind myself, like, I have a lot of friends that the type of relationship that we have is a very simple one, and it's important still.
Yeah. It's just being in the presence of people. You don't need anything from anybody. Isn't that a great place to be?
Yeah.
To sit in a room and
just chill.
Yeah, you don't have to. There's no need for anything. You just being there and enjoying stuff or whatever. That's the beauty of it all. But that is the key. I think that's what we're working towards. That's what we're doing every day with this. These episodes and just staying on track to get that moment of joy constantly. I mean, that if you could live like that all the time, that's what we're striving for. That's my goal now in life. It's like that's why because the few moments that you get, the few glimpses of it, you're like, yes, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. It's just like, wow, it's like eye-opening, it's existential,
Yeah.
It's the epiphany of life.
It does affect everything you do. When I get into that feel and I'm able to do it, I feel the differences, and the people around you also feel it, and that's not reason to do it, but it's okay. That's a benefit, extra benefit for you.
Yeah.
If it affects people around you, it does affect people around you and your surroundings. It's like that's the key, is to stay just as joyful as you can, and the gratitude really is the key also. If you're in a gratitude state, being grateful. You can't be in a negative state, in an upset state. in a jealous state if you're grateful. And be grateful for everyone. Like I said, if someone's not a great person, you realize the person that doesn't have love to give needs it the most.
Yeah.
It's don't pity them, just realize it, go, they need it the most.
Yeah.
They need it the most. I'm not going to pity them for that. I'm not going to look down on them for that, Don't look down at anybody. Don't look up at anybody. Just look into them. And we're all the same,
Yeah.
Really. We're all souls. We're all just floating, doing our things. We're getting in our costumes. It's my costume for the day. You put your costume on. They're costumes.
Yeah.
We don't need clothes. Somebody created clothes, so unfortunately, unless we want to get arrested, we have to wear clothes.
It's also warmer.
It is. I'd wear like a nice thick tunic.
I'd be down for tunics.
A nice wool, tunic or some kind of a robe or some kind of thing. But it's just, it's funny if you think about it. If you look at the other day, I did that. I said I'm gonna look at people at the beach too. I was looking. Oh my God, everybody has their own costumes on.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of like, we all put on little costumes.
That's hilarious. Makes you think about your day differently. Like, what costume am I putting on today?
Yeah.
Who am I playing today?
Yeah. Like, what are they trying to do? Oh my gosh, she's wearing 8-inch heels, or he's wearing a cut-off shirt to show this, or he's doing this. Like, okay, everybody has their costumes. This guy's wearing, a leather jacket and leather pants, or blah blah blah, whatever, and it's fine. Everybody's doing their thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's just looking. We're all trying to find the freedom, man.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, we all go back, it always comes back to the same thing, and that's really only one thing, is to be free. Free of what? Of thought. The thought is what brings you down, what covers everything up, and it's not necessary, I would say, 90% of the time.
Yeah, it's a crazy concept that we have these minds that really are our worst enemy, but also what allows us to be free and experience amazing things.
We're given this amazing mind. Animals don't. Yeah, animals don't have it. Other things on the planet don't have the mind we have, but we're using it against ourselves. Isn't it atrocious?
It's like you once told me. We're constantly putting stories to everything.
Yeah.
That light has a story. This guitar has a story.
Yeah.
This room has a story.
Yeah.
Rather than just being here.
No. The Four Agreements has a wonderful illustration of that. Like I said, when you start reading that book, it talks about the movie we create.
Yeah.
We're the star of the movie. And we see it from our point of view. But now if you see it from somebody else's point of view, oh my God, we're not the same.
Yeah.
So we all have our own little stories that we create in our little movies that we're creating.
It's wild.
So you know what? Make it a good movie.
Make it a good movie.
Make it a fun movie.
I like that.
Why
Make
not?
it a good movie.
Make it a fun movie.
Make it a good movie.
You're the writer. You're the producer.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it a good movie. The story is going to be a good story because why not?
It's
You
your
have a
movie.
choice. So, the rest of your life, you have a story to make up. Make one up and go. Well, I'm going to make one that, life sucks, or it's I hate it, and this and that. No, or I can make one that have fun. I'm going to enjoy myself and just enjoy myself.
Yeah. Make it awesome.
That's all the key. That's the key, So, but just flush the mind. Keep using the tools, folks. Everybody just, I don't know what else to say. It just, just doing this is fun. It's just, why is it fun? I think it's a rare to do something with someone like yourself.
Yeah.
And it's, put it in a framework like we talked about earlier. Make the frame of thought not so perfect that it has to fit into this certain thing, because rarely it does fit exactly the way you want it.
Yeah, it's not the shape into the right shape hole.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no shape.
Yeah, you can't.
We're really shapeless. Think about it.
Yeah, you can't put that into your head there.
No. Think of the universe. Think of everything. Think of our cells and our bodies. They're all just moving and getting to where they need to go and working. And they're all malleable. The body, everything moves. It's just motion. It's just be flexible. Flexible. And then the things won't bother you. Things just bounce off you. Things just whatever. Don't let, family's the hardest thing. Friends, job, just dealing with public. And those are obviously harder. But it gets easier. It does get easier as you do it.
Yeah.
It does get easier. So, but that's it. And just folks, we appreciate you watching. I know there's not a lot of people watching now, which is fine. I don't mind.
And if you are, I mean,
that's great.
Yeah, this is the point of this is to randomly click and be reminded.
Yeah, it's just a reminder. It's just a place to hang, in a warm place, and a welcoming place to say we're dealing with stuff like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
We're still dealing with our own stresses, our own anxieties. It's a big thing. I think I heard someone, Lady Gaga mentioned, like 44% of the population is under stress and anxiety and on medication for it. That's a big number.
Jeez.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
And that shows you we're all pretty much the same, again, in that way. We all need to be coming together and helping each other out. This is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. And then anybody else that wants to watch, if it helps.
Yeah.
It's just like and then somebody says, well, who are you to do that? I was like, well, I'm just a normal guy dealing with stuff like everybody else.
And relating.
If I could give someone a tool that helped me or help you out of all these tools we talked about, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
How many people can you walk? Yeah, just do something, and I can feel like I pushed forward a positive flow of energy to the next person. That's all.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thanks everybody for watching, and subscribe and share it if you want, and we'll do it again soon.
Rock and roll. Yeah.
And my favorite part, well, not my favorite part, but a nice way to conclude is with music from a master musician here. Yes. And this is actually a studio. We're in this music studio doing this.
Yeah.
Now, when you pick something you're going to do you know what you usually go with it?
Just pick it up and see what happens.
That's the beautiful part of it all.
Nice. You want more?
Enjoy the ride, everybody. Love you all.